All right, I want to go over the EPs for this quarter. It's quarter one of 2026. Um, I'll go by the best one first and go from there. FSLY was the best EP of the quarter. It was fantastic movement. It was an earnings play. They had really good EPS, 500 year over year with 100% surprise. The score was 3 out of 10. And then it also fastly sees full year 2025 EPS 3 cents when consensus is negative 7 cents. So they're profitable and they're expected to be profitable. To continue, gapped over a big range and it's up 154% in only a month and a half, 34 bars. And it never went below the 20 day. Um, it never even went below the 10 day. There was no close below the 10 day until this day here, and that would have been up 90%. You could have sold half here and then trail it for a close below the 20 day. That was the best one. AAOI, I think, is the second best one. Clear this. This is a photonics play. Let's see if I have it here. Um, it was an earnings play, so it was very good future guidance, and they couldn't make their product fast enough for the demand, but they got huge demand. Um, Gapped up, and it went further, or went about 96% before it started crashing down and forming a base. Kind of a choppy base, but um, most recent price action, I mean, it went up 30% in a day from open. This one's a big mover, 11% average range, and this one can run. I think this is one of the hottest stocks. You see the volume stayed super, super high. This is gaining ton of attention. The photonics kind of theme that's coming about. Um, just look at the volume. The volume is huge after the initial EP. So I think this can run. Next one on the same theme. Not necessarily the best EP, but kind of the same sort of theme. Is Lightwave Logic. Um, this is a partnership, Lightwave Logic and Tower Semiconductor agreement to enable high-speed, low-power modulators. Something something about photonics, silicon photonics platform. So this is just kind of the reason I'm pointing out this one is because of just the theme in photonics. It's it only went up 40%, only 40%, but it's kind of a lower price one, but it had a big day, and the volume is ticking up slightly. Not as much as AAOI, obviously, but it is ticking up. Um, let's see, which was the next one I want to do? Yeah, let's do Alto. So this one was purely a earnings play. It had a score of 3 out of 10. Its EPS was 179% year over year, and its EPS surprise was really, really big, 850%. And just had very good earnings acceleration, really good setup. The it had a run up, went sideways for 3 months, gapped up. It did have a long tail on the first day of 10% or so. I believe it was 10%. Yeah, it was 12% actually. Um, but it's holding up well. Uh, you'd probably trail it with the 20 day, is my guess. And it's looking good for a start. Next one, BATL. So this one was a thematic play, had to do with the U.S. Iran strikes and domestic oil benefits. This one was actually picking up before the strikes happened, but the strikes happened on this day, and it was very choppy, right? It's very choppy, but it did gap up, over 150% or so. And so it was one just to kind of throw into the mix as like one of the plays for the quarter um on that theme. Next one, Circle. Circle had good earnings as well. It was a big surprise on the EPS, 187% EPS surprise. And this one had been beaten down. Kind of a recent IPO, had been beaten down, and then, had a nice surprise. And the chart wasn't that great, but from open, it went up 82%. So that's a winner for sure. Right now it's failing. Probably needs a longer base after being an IPO, but that one was a good one to watch, and the volume was pretty good. The volume uh stayed higher, and it's kind of a hype stock. Circle, it's like stable coin kind of a thing, crypto kind of a thing. Um, Next one, another earnings play, ACTG. This is still new, but it's a really good chart. Um, ACTG was score 3 out of 10. The EPS year over year was 143%, and the two quarters, two previous quarters, revenue year over year was 155. So it got a score out of 3 out of 10. Um, and one day up, 11%, and it's just consolidated, but it's starting to look like it's bouncing off of this 20 day that was creeping up, and um, it looks like it could keep going. Not the best one, but a decent one. Dell, we haven't done Dell. So Dell was a really good story with the data centers. It had good earnings for a big, um, kind of a big cap company, 112 billion market cap. And this one was a nice one. It went up 34% and continuously was bouncing off of the 10-day. Never had a close below the 10-day until this day here. Bounced off of the 20-day as well. Not the fastest mover, but it was a solid EP. GLW. So this one would have stopped you out, but you can see the volume on this one as well. Really, really good follow through volume. The EP day was here, and this one was a big order. Meta Facebook basically to buy up 6 billion in fiber for AI data centers from Corning, which is GLW. And so look at the volume. It already had a deal with Apple, I think down here. And unfortunately for this one, it had that first day up of around 7%, and then it would have taken you out below the lows here on this day. But from that day forward, it's made 57% move, and it kind of consolidated, and now it's looking like it's breaking out again. And you can see the volume. That's why I kind of left it in there, even though you probably would have been stopped out. The volume is really good, so it's one to look at. Pays. This is a recent one. This had earnings, good revenue year over year, 46% year over year, and then 2 quarters ago, the revenue was 41% year over year. So it got a score 2 out of 10. The chart is not that great. It kind of looks like Circle's chart, where it's kind of downtrending, and um, low price stock opened at 4.49. The low a day for that day was 5.12, so that would have kept you in. Um, and it's up 34% so far. Did we go over CVCO? I don't think we did. CVCO, this is a turnaround story, even though it's earnings. Earnings, it's a turnaround story off to a strong start. It was 1 out of 10 on the earnings, so not like super good. 70% 2 quarters ago, year over year revenue, and it went down 12% at open, and the chart wasn't very good, but I thought I'd just add it in because it did have nice follow through. It's up 65% so far. Okay, last one on the list is UGRO. This one, I thought that the this is kind of a low float kind of a play. The the news story was kind of like not obvious to me. Um, T20 cricket franchise valuation surge highlights Urban Grow's flash sports and media positioning. I think they are kind of transitioning into a new company or something like that, or they took a. It looks like they're doing something else with like sports, and so it gapped up 63%. The low day was 14%. But the reason I left it in is because it was just insane, just to kind of show like what these low float stocks can do. In 2 days, 916%. That's insane. That's insane from open. The volume on day one was 162 million. So their company's changing. It's a low float, really low market cap too, 11.2 million market cap. And, you know, it basically almost went up 1,000% in a couple days. That can change your account for sure. I think that's it. Let me go through the rest. Overall, the market was honestly not that great, to be honest. The market was just kind of chopping around. We had that small downturn. Um, so far, we're down on the year about 3%, and it was just kind of choppy. The moving averages were kind of sloping down. So, but despite that, there were good EPs. There was, FSLY was a great EP. Like that's a really, really good one. I'm really upset at myself for not holding on to that one. I messed up in that one. But it is what it is. Alto, I think, is a good EP. Um, AAOI was a really interesting one, really good one. 93% and not a lot of time. These ones move so freaking quick. These ones that have good earnings with a theme and future guidance, they can really move. But that's it for quarter one. Next quarter, let's hope for more really, really good EPs and let's nail them. Thanks for watching.